Hello and welcome to another video of BFS Wargaming. So today we are going to talk about repulsors and repulsor executioners. Are they worth their points? So as of this video, the Ultramarine supplement and the White Scars supplement is out, but the others aren't out yet. So I'm going to sort of, obviously their chapter tactics are, so I can talk a bit about that, but obviously the supplements aren't, so I don't know how much other stuff's they'll have to buff things, but we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the Repulsor Executioner and the Repulsor. So I've been mainly playing the Repulsor Executioner because I really like the big gun. So they both went up 30 points just before the Space Marine Codex come out, or when the Space Marine Codex come out. I don't really know why. Obviously the reason is because GW felt they were underpriced. So let's go in and talk about their stats. So let's talk about their stats in terms of, obviously they're hitting on threes, ballistic skill 3, toughness 8 vehicle, with a 3-up save. Now toughness 8 obviously is good, pretty much about the highest toughness you're going to get on a vehicle, unless you go put a buff on something, which you can obviously put Might of Heroes on it, which goes to toughness 9, which does make it more durable, with a librarian. Or there is some other things like a knight can go up to toughness 9, and there's maybe some Forge World models that are toughness 9, but in general toughness 8 is about the highest you're really going to see. So that's good. But obviously most anti-tank weaponry, like las cannons, doom, day arc guns, death rays, they're all like strength 9, strength 10. I mean, multi-metals are only strength 8. But yeah, your good anti-tank is usually higher than strength 8. Or if it is strength 8, it's still wounded on 4s. So my issue is they have a really good damage output, especially if you put like a chapter master with them, so you're re-rolling everything. Obviously before Guilliman got his nerf but dropped in points, obviously with him you're re-rolling all hits, re-rolling all wounds, which was really strong, but you can't do that anymore. But you can still have like a chapter master and a lieutenant, so you're re-rolling all hits, and that's hits now against flyers that are -1. You can re-roll everything, which is really nice with that chapter master 2 CP from the Space Marine thing. Makes them very good, gives them a lot of fire output, makes them a lot more reliable. If you put a lieutenant next to them as well within 6 inches on it, you then get the re-roll 1s to wound, which is really good because you're wounding most things on 3s, so then it's only 2s you're really missing. So that makes, sorry, with the big gun I'm talking, not with the normal guns. With the normal guns, a lot of them are strength 5, strength 4 weapons, but with the big gun makes it very good. But with all them re-rolls and then the re-rolls of 1 to wound, it then makes the smaller guns a lot better as well. But without that, they are nowhere near as reliable, and they're not doing anywhere near as much damage output. Have they got up points because you can re-roll everything on them? I don't know. Maybe they went up points because they knew they were going to get chapter tactics, which made them better, because now all of the vehicles get chapter tactics. Maybe they put them up because of that. I don't know. They obviously realised or thought there was a balance issue, so they put them up by 30 points each. Are we going to see them in really competitive lists? I don't think we are, unfortunately. Not really competitive lists. I think there's other things that you can take. I mean, it's good that now you have to take Space Marine stuff to get the Doctrine. So therefore, if you want some really good anti-tank, you might then take them. But you've got other stuff. You've now got grav guns, and you can put on Devastators, and which you can re-roll everything on them. You've got the Thunder Fire cannons. You've got more options now with that codex, so you wouldn't have to take an Executioner. And then you've got like aggressors for volume of fire and stuff like that. So yeah, it's maybe you have better options taking 336 points for the Executioner worth of stuff, or for the Repulsors about 330 as well. I think it's not far off anyway. So you maybe got, you could put just as much fire output with different options which will be more durable. Let's talk about the durability of the Repulsor and the Executioner. So on their own, like I said, they're toughness 8 with the free up save. I don't know why they've given them a free up save. This bit baffles me, because Land Raiders have got a 2-up save, and Land Raiders were already dying very easily. So it wasn't like everyone was going, oh, Land Raiders are just so hard to kill. They weren't. And don't get me wrong, you can fly with a Repulsor, which means you can drop out of combat and still shoot, which is really, really good. But that's one of the reasons why no one was taking Land Raiders, and also, you know, the fact that they die really easy. Because they don't have an invuln. So, you know, you look at stuff like the Drukhari Ravagers. Yeah, they're only 10 wounds and they're only toughness 6, but they've got a 5-up invuln. And they're like 125 points, something along those lines. So, would you prefer to take 3 of them with 30 wounds at toughness 6 with a 5-up invuln, with a good amount of, and you've got 3 different targets there, with a good amount of fire output, which can take, you know, if you're putting disintegrators cannons on them, you can take out most things, including tanks, because of the amount of fire. Or you could put Dark Lancers on them. I mean, disintegrators are definitely the preferred thing. So, you know, is it better? And I know that is slightly more points. You're looking at like 375 points for the 3 Ravagers. But is it better to have a lower toughness than a 5-up invuln? Does that make them more durable? And I would say probably yes, because if you get shot by a thermal cannon, which is -4 AP, off a knight, for instance, I know this because I played a friend Ollie yesterday who had a Chaos Knight with 2 thermal cannons, which could reroll everything, and they just absolutely decimate them. And you know, anything like Doomsday Arcs where you've got, you know, D6 shots with a couple of Doomsday Arcs. I mean, a Doomsday Arc could take out a Repulsor in one go, like, no problem. And it's like, is it better to have, or for instance, Doomsday Arc, toughness 6, quantum shielding? Is it better to have that, or is it better to be toughness 8 with a 3-up save? Because this is the thing, why not put a 2-up save? So even against like melters and thermal cannons that are -4, okay, you still wouldn't get it against the Doomsday Arcs, which is -5, which you don't mind if there's like 1 or 2 weapons in the game. But everything else you'd at least get a 6-up save from, which I think would be huge. So basically what I'm saying is, a Repulsor Executioner or a Repulsor on its own, for the amount of points they are now, are not worth it. On their own, just sitting there on their own, they are definitely 100%, in my opinion, not worth the points. You put a Chapter Master and a Lieutenant next to them, they're starting to be worth the points. I still don't think they're worth the points because they die too easy. And what annoys me is they'll die to like Tesla fire too easy. For instance, from net runs, I'm using it as an example, or Tau Warriors. So 0 AP, but they're strength 5, so they're wounded on 5s and 6s against that Repulsor. And then, you know, it's volume of shots. You think how many shots Tesla can put out? You've got 9 Tomb Blades or a unit of 10 Teslas with My Will Be Done, and then you can stick, once he's got 1 wound on, you could stick another plus the hit. You know, they're getting Tesla on 4-ups. That tank's going to be gone, because you're going to 3-up saves. You're going to fail a certain amount. 2-up saves is going to keep it alive a lot longer, and a tank shouldn't be going down to Tesla. You know, it shouldn't be falling to Tesla that easily, and that's where I think that it should have a 2-up save, because the 2-up saves, one, it's giving you a little bit better against the anti-tank, such as las cannons. You're getting a 5-up, melters, you're getting a 6-up. You know, at least you're getting something where you can save. Like, yeah, las cannons, you're getting a 6-up save, but there's too many -3 weapons. You know, it needs to be a 5-up save. So there, I think that they're just not durable enough as they stand. Now, when we look at the chapter tactics, White Scars does nothing for them. Absolutely nothing. Like, there's no point in... I play White Scars, as if you watch this channel, you may have seen. And I love White Scars. I love the chapter. I love some of the stratagems and everything else. I mean, you could probably use a stratagem to make it shoot. You can use a stratagem to make it shoot after it advances if you wanted, which situational. You don't really want it to advance anyway, but situational. So yeah, maybe that could be quite good, especially on the actual repulsor rather than the executioner. If you want to advance it up to move it up the board and you've got some stuff in it, and then you could get them out, you know, something like that, which you can do with White Scars. So maybe the repulsor is more beneficial for White Scars, but still, but not the executioner. There's no real benefit. To the point, competitively, I'd probably try and put a different chapter tactic on the repulsors, have a different detachment. I don't really want to do that because I do like to play as pure as I can. But you know, it might be something that has to be done to make them competitive. So let's go in. We've said White Scars, not really doing anything for the executioner. Yeah, the repulsor, there's things it could do for it. Iron Hands. Iron Hands is very, very good for both. Okay, so Iron Hands, you're getting a 6-up feel no pain, brilliant, and you're doubling the damage table when you're doubling the damage table when it's at half. You know, your damage tier. So basically, if you go down a tier, you're still shooting on top tier. So if you're on 6 wounds, it's like you've got 12 wounds, so you still be shooting on top tier. Just for the damage table. So really, really good. And I think as well they've got the 5-up Overwatch. So you're overwatching on 5s, which I have to have a relic for to do with White Scars. Like phenomenal. I mean, I killed a Lord of Discordant in Overwatch with a 5-up and had a chapter master, so I was re-rolling. Phenomenal. Like, I think Iron Hands chapter tactic is by far the strongest out of all of them, and especially for like executioners. If you take like a heavy mech army, you know, dreads, war suits, repulsor executioners, it's going to be very, very cool. I think it'll be strong. And you never know, I might just play them as Iron Hands, you know, and see what I can do. Because at the moment, my army would probably be suited more to Iron Hands than with White Scars. And also, Iron Hands supplement isn't even out yet. You think of all of the stuff, you know, extra stratagems, things like that you could get for the Iron Hands, could be really, really cool. So yeah, that's the Iron Hands. I think is probably going to be the strongest for the executioners and the repulsors, just for durability. The 6-up feel no pain is going to help them massively. You know, 6 wounds come through, you could ignore 2, and that's the other thing with the Ravagers. Obviously, Cabula the Blackheart gives them a 6-up feel no pain, makes them a lot more durable. You know, it's things like that. But the Ravagers are still only 125 points each. Repulsor Executioner 336. Doesn't make sense. So the Salamanders chapter tactic, we have so this is without knowing anything that the Salamanders get. Oh, obviously as well, the Devastator Doctrine does make them a lot better as well, because you're getting -2 on like Heavy Onslaught, Heavy Bolter, the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. You know, there's a lot of those things you're getting an extra -1 on, plus your big laser destroyer becomes -5, and obviously your las cannons will be -4 on your repulsor. So the Devastator Doctrine does make them better as well, which is maybe why they stuck them up another 30 points. I don't know. But the Salamanders, you're re-rolling 1 hit, 1 wound. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And I think you're ignoring -1 AP. So any guns that are -1 AP, which is again is good. It does help with durability on that vehicle. It's not as good as the Iron Hands, definitely. But getting to re-roll that 1 wound, because the hit, if you've got a chapter master next to him, you're re-rolling the hit anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the 1 wound could be that 2, or you know what I mean. So that could be quite good. So Salamanders, I think it does have, it would be better in obviously than something like White Scars. So that's nice. Then you've got Raven Guard. Raven Guard, you're basically just going to get a cover save again, which makes it more durable, puts it up to that 2-up, really good. But imagine have a 2-up save and then a cover save, so -1 you'd still be on a 2. Really good. But unfortunately we don't have a 2-up save. I really hope they change it or something in chapter approved. GW, if you're listening, please give Repulsors and Repulsor Executioners a 2+ save. So yeah, Raven Guard, obviously we don't know what any of the other stuff for the Raven Guard is, but yeah, I think extra little cover save on it, it's not going to hurt it. It's better than what the White Skies are giving it. Ultramarines aren't really giving it much, apart from, well, I say they aren't giving it much, they are giving it a lot, because it can, as of turn 2, if you go to Tactical Doctrine, which if you're playing Ultramarines you 100% will, you can then move and then shoot like you haven't moved. So you can now, because with the Repulsor Executioner, if you move over half distance, you basically can't shoot your gun twice, so you only get 2 shots instead of 4. With Ultramarines, you can move that full distance, and it's as if you hadn't moved, so you can shoot the 4 shots, which is really nice. That is good, because you can get some good positioning on stuff that's trying to hide out of line of sight. You don't really want to move that 10 inches because you need that, you want them 4 shots, but then you move the 10 inches of Ultramarines and you can still do the 4 shots. It's nice, it's really good. Imperial Fists, obviously I don't know again any of the stratagems or anything like that. I mean, you're going to be getting, I think it's a 6 on bolt weaponry for Imperial Fists. You've only really got the Storm Bolters on there, so not fantastic. They do ignore cover though, so that could definitely help. If you're shooting stuff out of ruins and things like that, you know, yeah, 100% that could help. Would make it more effective than a White Scars Repulsor or Repulsor Executioner. So yeah, I basically just wanted to talk about, you know, where the Repulsor and the Repulsor Executioner are. I think in some of the chapters they could be quite strong, or they could definitely be stronger. Are they worth 336 points for a Repulsor Executioner? I don't think they are. I think that if you give them a 2-up save, they're a lot closer to being worth 336 points. You know, I think 300 points with a 2-up save would probably be about right, if I'm honest, because they do die easy. And even if you had a 2-up save, they're still going to die. And, you know, it's not going to be that hard to get rid of. And this is the problem with competitive and casual gaming. Now, with competitive gaming, people are going to have stuff in their list to take out a repulsor. You know, they just will, because they need it to take out knights. So knights have a 5-up invon or a 4-up invon for a lot of them, so they can withstand and they're a lot more durable against that anti-tank. A Repulsor Executioner has a 3-up save, same as a knight, but it doesn't have that 5-up invon. And if you think, like, a knight gallant, yeah, it hasn't got the weaponry, but once you get it in, it's got some serious damage output. It's only 20 points, less than 20 points more than the Repulsor Executioner. It's got a 5-up invon. You know, and it's got houses and different things to buff it from the Knight Codex as well. Like I said, the 4-up invon, you know, you give it a 4-up invon. Or you can rotate Iron Shields and give it a 4-up invon every turn. And I know we've got like Armour of Contempt, which is nice. Give it the 5-up for when I'm playing against Psychic or Mortal Wounds. I'm not sure, it's just like it might just be Mortal Wounds. And then we have the new stratagem, which is really good, where you can fire it, only 1 weapon from it, when it dies, which I've used a lot, and it is good because you can fire that big gun, 4 dice. You know, you can take someone out with it as it dies, and it fires on its top tier as well, which is really good. And then you got the Chapter Master next to it, re-rolling, you know, Lieutenant re-rolling 1s. It is good. Is it worth 336 points? I don't think so. Like I said, if it goes down to 300 points with a 2-up save, I think, yeah, it then becomes sort of on the verge of competitive. And that, like I say, casual gaming, it's pretty good. You know, as just in a casual game, if you're trying to take it competitively, I don't think it is. As I don't think you'll see many lists with them that are like, you know, on top tables. But casually, you know, they're great. They do put out a lot of firepower. They, you know, a Repulsor Executioner should take out 30 boys like that. Really, really good. If you've got a chapter master with them, sorry, you need to be re-rolling, because otherwise their consistency goes right downhill. But that's all I've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I didn't bore you too much talking about the Repulsors and the Executioners. I do love the models. I love the Executioner. I've got 2 of them. I am taking them to the LGT. So you will hear how they do. I'm expecting them to die a lot. But then it does depend on who I come up against, you know. There is ways of hiding and screening and keeping them alive. I think some armies I play against that haven't got as much anti-tank, if I can screen well enough against, like, for instance, Gene Stealer Cult, maybe, that haven't got too much anti-tank, but maybe have got like the demolition charges and stuff, if I can screen well enough, I could do some serious damage with them. If I go up against Knights with thermal cannons and Necrons with Doomsday Arcs and Doom Scythes, they're going to be gone turn 1, turn 2. Turn 2 if I'm really lucky. So yeah, that's what I've got for you. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that they're priced right, or if you think they should go up in points or down in points. Please give me some feedback. Let me know how you're feeling about the Repulsor Executioner. Have you used it? And the Repulsor? Do you think that they should go down in points? Do you think they should have a 2-up save? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.